So this is going to be the next video in my series about the basics of synths and reason. In the first video we talked about oscillators. Second video we talked about filters. Third video we started talking about modifiers and we were talking about envelopes. Now we're going to talk about another modifier, LFO. These are the basic elements that make up a synthesizer. Beyond that it starts getting into effects. So anyways, there's all sorts of LFOs in Reason. Just to go through really fast, in the Thor we have these two LFOs. The Maelstrom, these two LFOs called Mod A and Mod B. Subtractor, we have these two LFOs. Dr. Octorex, we have a single LFO. In XT, we have two LFOs. The Inner 19, we have one LFO. The Echo, we have one LFO. The Pulverizer, we have one LFO, and it's called Trimmer. Pulverizer. For some reason I mess up the name often, so anyways. It's called Trimmer. In the Alligator we also have an LFO, and obviously the Pulsar has LFOs because that's what the device does. It's just two LFOs. Yeah. Anyways, moving on. So LFO stands for low frequency oscillator, and that's because it's pretty much the same as these. The only difference is it's low frequency. This rate just goes a lot slower than the general rate of these oscillators. These oscillators for A4 on a keyboard, which is that is this waveform, or actually I don't have the Thor selected, that's why it didn't sound right. A4 is this oscillation going at 440 oscillations per second, or in other words 440 hertz. On the other hand, we have this LFO, and this goes at 2.69 hertz, so it oscillates 2.69 times per second. I mean, that's very slow compared to the type of oscillator that we get sound out of. What we use this for is we use this to control different parameters. We might set this oscillator to affect a frequency knob, or pulse width, or a pitch, or you could really connect it to any parameter you want. And so that's generally what we use LFOs for. Just to get started, I'm going to go ahead and connect LFO 1 up to oscillator 1 pitch, just so that we can sort of we can hear what it's doing. So right now, I turn up this sustain, and I'm going to take out those filters. So we're not dealing with filters and envelopes. We just want to hear what this LFO is doing. So that's the effect that we're getting. We're getting this pitch being bent in this shape at this speed. And if I turn up this rate, you can hear that this is indeed having an effect on the pitch of this oscillator. So as we move through the different sort of things that you can modify in an LFO, the basics are rate, waveform. So different LFOs are going to have a different set of waveforms. Most of them are going to have the basic ones, the sine wave, triangle, square, and sawtooth. But some go all over the place with their different waveform shapes. Going to the next parameter, we have a delay. This is not on all LFOs. This basically means the amount of time before this LFO starts having an effect, starts oscillating. So if we have this turned all the way up, it means that in 1 second after I hit a key down, this LFO will start working. So you can hear this when I play a note. So after 1 second, it started oscillating the pitch. The keyboard follow means that as I turn this up, once it's all the way up, the higher I play on the keyboard, the more it will turn up the rate, and the lower I play, the lower it will turn the rate down. So it centers around C4, so anything you play above C4 is going to be faster than this set rate, and everything below C4 is going to be slower to the degree that of the distance. So if I play a note down very low, if I bring this up a little bit so we can make sure we can hear it. It's a pretty slow oscillation. As I move up, a little bit faster, somewhat fast, getting pretty fast, really fast, and yeah, so on. You get the point. This just makes it so that your keyboard position has an effect on the rate knob of the LFO. Key sync is another feature that is somewhat unique to this LFO. And this makes it so that each time you hit a note, it will start the LFO from the beginning. So if I don't have it on and I hit notes quickly at a somewhat slow rate, then it will be at different pitch bent parts throughout the oscillation. This is just going constantly, and I'm hitting the notes at random times, so it's getting bent at random points. But if I hit key sync, then it will reset this oscillation each time I hit a note, so it will sound consistent. And yeah, that's what the key sync does. Tempo sync, you see this on a couple different devices. LFOs generally have them. The majority of LFOs have a tempo sync, and this allows it to lock in to the grid of whatever your tempo is. So now will oscillate every 2/4 of a measure, and you could go all the way up to 1/32 on this LFO. So anyways, that's the basics of an LFO. We'll just go through really fast to point out some differences in some of the other LFOs. This one doesn't have a keyboard follow. I mean, it might have different waveforms, I'm not actually sure. It looks like they're pretty much the same. The Maelstrom has a lot of different waveform shapes, and it also has a one-shot function, which means if I go ahead and select it, if I have it controlling the pitch, I'll just to show you that it's normal. Then I turn up the pitch, it will pitch bend. This is the same basic functionality as doing this. It's just this is how the Maelstrom does it. The one shot means that it will only go through this oscillation once. So if I hit a note, it will go through the oscillation once and then it no longer have an effect on the pitch. So that's what the one shot does. I really like these Maelstrom LFOs. I use them a decent amount. Subtractor, waveform selection. This is where you select what controls. So this would be to control the pitch. You can set the amount with this knob, rate and everything. Same basic thing, except you don't have waveform selection. Same basic thing. This is where you control what it affects. Yeah, I mean, I could go through each one of these, but they're fairly similar across the board. They just are sort of laid out differently. It's the same basic idea. Lag is the same as delay, or it's actually a little bit different. It moves through the waveform at a different point in time. So you can, if you had 100%, then it would be going through the same oscillation. If you had it at 50%, then it would start like partway through the oscillation. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I don't know, that's pretty much it. And that's what LFOs are. Anyways, hope you've got something useful out of this. Thanks.